Hello everyone, today is Thursday, May 2nd, 2019. We got word from the Long Island Railroad earlier this afternoon that Amtrak will be doing more work at Penn Station starting in July. Now, the work will start on Monday, July 1st. That's what we know right now. Amtrak is going to begin new round of track and infrastructure work at Penn Station. The good news is, starting on Monday, July 1st, the service levels will remain consistent with the current schedules. So, pretty much, if you don't remember 2 years ago, there was this hyped up summer of hell that really didn't happen because, remember, the one time Patrick Nowakowski did the right thing when he was Long Island Railroad president was, of course, canceling the flyers. Now, some of them have been canceled, but I know one of them very well, which is the 605 to Montauk. That has not been canceled. So, if you're looking for that train, eastbound train to Montauk, you won't be impacted. Okay? Getting that message clear. But let's continue to read on along here. And one more thing, I will be giving you all the link to this press release in the description below. So, on July 1st, again, this is Monday, July 1st, 7 morning rush hour trains and 7 evening rush hours also will be affected to offset the changes. 5 trains being added and select trains to be lengthened. Some trains to make additional stops, rush hour seating capacity to equal current level. So, we will, again, take a look at this. MTA today, along with Long Island Railroad President Philip Bing, announced that despite additional Amtrak work in July and August, the LIRR summer service levels will remain consistent with the current levels. Starting on Monday, Monday, May 20th, I have it in front of my calendar right here. A temporary break in Amtrak's Penn Station state of good repair track work will allow the restoration of 10 Long Island Railroad trains that were diverted or canceled in January. As a result of Amtrak's continuing work at Penn Station, once Amtrak work resumes just before July, service levels will resume to current levels. And I will show you the timetable to prove that I am not lying, and it is available to the public. May 20th timetable brings temporary restoration of full rush hour service. Additionally, for the May 20th timetable, due to popular demand, 2 extra Penn Station bound morning rush hour trains originating in Farmingdale, which was the 5:10 a.m. and 5:43 a.m. Freeport train, will continue to operate through September. In the evening, the 552 train from Long Island City to Port Jefferson will retain its stop at Huntington at 7:15 p.m. 3 extra trains that have been added temporarily to offset the other changes will be removed from the schedule. To accommodate track work on the Ronkonkoma branch, starting on May 20th, some AM and PM peak trains, including reverse peak trains, will have earlier adjusted departure times on the Ronkonkoma branch. Now, of course, they mention for complete timetables by branch, we're going to look at the link later on in this video. Also included in the May 20th timetables is the extra summer service to Montauk, including the Cannonball, which will officially be resumed on Friday, May 24th. And I know that date by heart because I know the railroad too well, folks, that you always know the Cannonball service to Montauk from Penn. Always. And I know this for a fact by heart. Starts on Memorial Day weekend. And, of course, remember, you need that train. Because I'm going to bring this up right now. And this is exactly on topic. Is that why can't the city of New York issue a gridlock alert day on May 24th? That's literally the worst day of the entire year for traffic. Literally the worst day of the year. And not to mention, the Mets are at home that day. The Mets are at home. The Mets are playing the Tigers that day. So, literally, that's already bad as it is. Already bad. And now, you have the traffic just being built up. So, I would really hope the city would have common sense and they would issue a gridlock alert day on May 24th. Because they should. They really should. Because you don't, that's going to, people are just going to take their cars out. We'll go to the Cannonball in just a second. We'll click on this link. Let's just take a look. Right, I do apologize. It's the same thing. Same thing. Let's see. Long Island Railroad will continue current service levels through July 1st to September 2nd. Starting July 1st, as Amtrak resumes its work at Penn on a complex of switches known as JO interlocking, the Long Island Railroad uses of available track space in Penn Station will again be limited as it was from January through May 19th. Senior officials had been coordinating with Amtrak personnel to ensure the work progresses smoothly, including a commitment from Amtrak to stage response crews at strategic locations to address any issues that may arise, as well as to complete some repairs to track and conduct various inspections before work begins to help minimize any further impacts to Long Island Railroad customers. Due to Amtrak's repair work, the Long Island Railroad will divert or cancel 7 of 144 morning rush hour trains and 7 of 130 evening rush hour trains starting on Monday, July 4th and running until Sunday, September 2nd. 5 trains are being added on the edges of both AM and PM peak periods to provide affected customers with alternative options. The LIRR is lengthening key trains to ensure that the overall seating capacity into Penn Station is in line with current capacity. These changes will also include 4 morning peak trains to Penn that will be diverted to Atlantic Terminal to Brooklyn, 1 morning peak train to Penn Station, which will terminate in Jamaica, Queens, and 2 trains that will not operate. In the evening rush hour, 2 trains will originate at Atlantic Terminal, Brooklyn, instead of Penn Station, 2 trains will operate at Jamaica and Queens instead of Penn Station, and 3 trains will not operate. In both the morning and evening rush hours, stops will be added to trains as necessary to preserve service opportunities from diverted or canceled trains, and cars will be added to lengthen existing trains. To help offset these changes and maintain maximum capacity, 2 trains will be added to Penn Station in the early AM rush, as well as 3 trains added in the early afternoon from Penn Station. Staff will remain in close communication with Amtrak as it continues its state of good repair work, in order to ensure the impacts to Long Island Railroad customers remain as minimal as possible. Let's see, I'm curious to see what this link will be. Again, they just keep promoting the same thing over and over again. Right, of course. There's going to be a couple extra timetables. Okay, that is interesting. Right. Of course, you have your other communication options. And of course, probably I would say, we will probably know the schedules, I would say, at the beginning of June. Beginning or the second full week of June, the way it looks. But anyhow, let's take a look at the schedule changes affected from Monday, July 1st through Sunday, September 2nd. So here's what we know right now. On the Pepperdown branch, westbound, 6:56 a.m. train from Wantor to Penn Station will be diverted to Atlantic Terminal, Brooklyn. Same with the 8:25 a.m. train from Freeport will also be diverted to Atlantic Terminal, Brooklyn. A 5:43 a.m. train from Freeport to Penn Station, added back in January, will continue to operate on weekdays during this period. 7:10 train from Pepperdown to Penn Station will not be operating during this period. To help accommodate these customers, Some scheduled stops from this train will be added from the 721 train from Lebanon to Penn Station, and other stops will be added to the 744 train from Merrick to Penn. On eastbound service, 331 train from Penn to Babylon will be added and operate on weekdays this period. The 434 train from Penn to Babylon will not operate during this period. Customers can board the 437 train to Wantagh with added stops. 519 train from Penn to Wantagh will not operate during this period. Customers can board the 524 train to Freeport with added stops. 540 train from Penn to Seaford will not operate during this period. Customers can board the 547 train to Freeport with added stops. 702 train from Hunters Point to Freeport will be added and operate on weekdays during this period. Far Rockaway branch westbound, 810 train from Far Rockaway to Penn Station will not operate during this period. Customers can board the 821 train from Far Rockaway to Penn with added stops. Eastbound, 442 train from Penn to Far Rockaway will originate at Atlantic Terminal, Brooklyn. So if you want to catch that train, you're going to have to go to Atlantic Terminal, Brooklyn. That stinks, but, well, unfortunately, I know that train very well. That's an express train that doesn't stop at Woodside, Forest Hills, and Kew Gardens. 532 train from Penn to Far Rockaway will originate at Jamaica. To reach this train from Penn Station, customers can board the 524 Freeport train from Penn and change at Jamaica. Now again, if you don't want to deal with that, I would recommend, if you can, and if you are coming from Manhattan, take the 2 and the 3 train, take the A or the C to Hoyt Schermerhorn, take the BDFM NQR trains. No, that bad. BD NQ or R trains, from 34th Street Herald, or from, let me say what the safe point would be. There's no other way to get to the 4 and the 5 from Lexington in that area. The only other way you could do it is transfer back from Grand Central, but that's a headache. But what I'm trying to say here is that, you do have your options to get over to Atlantic Terminal if you don't want to go direct from Penn. So that would be your best bet, and I would recommend doing that. Wow, even Hempstead branch is going to be impacted. 712 train from Hempstead to Penn would be diverted to Atlantic Terminal in Brooklyn. 504 train from Penn to Hempstead will originate at Jamaica. To reach this train from Penn Station, customers can board the 5:01 p.m. Farmingdale train from Penn and change to Jamaica. 538 train from Penn Station to Hempstead will originate at Atlantic Terminal in Brooklyn. Long Beach branch, 803 train from Long Beach to Penn Station will be diverted to Atlantic Terminal in Brooklyn. So that's the only service change on the Montauk branch, and thankfully, with this work, my normal trains, which are the 211, 256 express trains to Jamaica from Penn, will not be impacted. That's very good news. Montauk, 621 train from Speonk to Penn will depart Speonk approximately 5 minutes earlier. Same with an eastbound train, but that is a 616 train from Speonk to Montauk will depart Speonk approximately 5 minutes earlier. Ronkonkoma, 510 train from Farmingdale to Penn Station, added in January, will still continue to operate on weekdays during this period, stopping at Bethpage at 5:16, Hicksville at 5:22, Mineola at 5:30, and Jamaica at 5:46 a.m., and will be arriving at Penn Station at 6:05 a.m. 654 train from Central Islip to Penn Station will terminate at Jamaica. Eastbound 159 train from Penn to Ronkonkoma, which normally operates on holiday evenings, will operate on weekdays during this period on the adjusted schedule. So I know that train very well. That's very good. And you know who to thank for that. Philip Bing. Very quickly, is there any service changes on the Huntington Port Jefferson branch? Okay, good. So it looks like also the 135 to Huntington, which connects with the Port Jefferson train, will not be impacted as well. So that's good. They're not going to change that one as well. And I'll quickly mention, I know everybody likes that off-peak train. There's an express that goes from Penn to Babylon with stops. I forget what time that train is, but I know it by heart. But I know it stops at Freeport and then it goes to Babylon after Jamaica. So, yeah. Very quickly. Gonna look for Montauk service. So let's see the Montauk schedule very quickly. Here we go, folks. I will read you now the official Cannonball, as I like to call it, notice on the Montauk schedule. So once again, we are reading the schedule that starts on Monday, May 20th. So that's 2 weeks from this Monday. So, on the Cannonball! Long Island Railroad's Premium Express non-stop Cannonball eastbound service from Penn Station to the Hamptons and Montauk. Same with the westbound service that leaves on Sundays. Getting on at Penn Station? Next stop, West Hempstead. Avoid spending 4 hours in traffic. Instead, there is the premium service, and before you know it, you'll be there. With Long Island Railroad's Hampton Reserve service on both eastbound and westbound trains, Cannonball trains, you can book your seat in advance and enjoy the best way to the Hamptons, of course, each and every summer. From Manhattan to Montauk, the LIRR has you covered with fast service, but I don't know if comfortable and efficient is the right word. I mean, those Cannonball trains always get crowded, and we know how controversial they get. So as I said earlier, Cannonball East service will start on Friday, May 24th, and will be offered every Friday except on Friday, July 5th. The service will also be offered on Wednesday, July 3rd for the 4th of July holiday. Now, remember, since, with that, there's probably going to be families who will take 4-day weekends this year, because remember, the 4th of July this year will fall on a Thursday, and then with 2020 next year, with the leap year, that will be on a Saturday. So with that, next year, as an example, would be Friday, July 3rd. You will still have that train next year. Don't worry about that. As long as the railroad can operate it, they'll operate it. But I'm trying to get you the Cannonball. When would that? Right, we'll go with the schedule. Cannonball West service will start on Monday, May 27th, and will be offered every Sunday thereafter, except Sunday, September 1st. And of course, the Cannonball service that will end for the 2019 season will end on Monday, September 2nd for the Labor Day holiday weekend. So finally, we will now take a look for the Cannonball service, the first eastbound train from Penn State. Right, it's only one train. I think it's only one train. Let me just confirm with everybody. I do apologize. Okay, Cannonball. Here we go. Here's the Cannonball, folks. So the Cannonball will be running. The first Cannonball will start at 4:06 p.m. Again, the service will start on Friday, May 24th. So, again, if you are interested for the Cannonball, that will be... okay, this is very odd, right? It says trains only run Thursdays only. So, are they adding extra service on Thursdays? Huh. That's a good question. I'd like to know more about that. Let's see. Now, very quickly, this is what I don't like. Why isn't this train going to Oh, I think I know why, folks. I know why. I forgot you have to connect at Babylon, if I'm correct. Right, I forgot. You have to connect to Babylon. That's awful. Thankfully, you can still connect from Jamaica. So that's good. That's pretty good. Still have a 426 train. Now, if anybody's coming from Queens and you need service to Montauk on the weekend, I would recommend this right now. If you are coming from Queens and you need service to the Hamptons, you need service to, I would say, what would be a good train? I'd have to look into that. I've always wondered, how could you get from Jamaica to, Okay, never mind, folks. If you need service, take the 4:45 train from Jamaica. That train will get you to the Hamptons. So if you need service to the Hamptons, take that train. Take that train. Now, if you're going to Sayville, for an example, you want to maybe go to Islip, Bayshore on a Friday, I would say take the 501 train from Jamaica. But if you need service to the Hamptons and you're coming from Queens, just take the 4:45 train from Jamaica, because that would be the easiest alternative if you're coming from Queens. If you're coming from Atlantic Terminal, Brooklyn, I would say try to get to Jamaica early if you can. And if you need to get to the Hamptons, do it that way. That's what I would recommend as well. The 4:45 eastbound train to Montauk. That is a train. Let me see where it's leaving from. I'm just curious. Right, that train will be leaving from Hunters Point Avenue. Right, so thankfully, they will also still have service from Hunters Point Avenue. So that's very good that they have looked also into the Hunters Point customers. So with that, we're going to wrap up this video. Thank you all for watching. Until the next one, please take care.